Hello, and welcome back to E-Hermes, your electric adventure travel channel. Today's adventure is relatively short, but we are going in search of the world's largest electric vehicle of all time. If you think it's the Cybertruck, you'd be mistaken. If you think it's the electric Hummer, that would be wrong too. Not even close. We do have one slight concern. It's not a major deal because there's other options, but the charger that we would normally go to would be the Cambridge, Ohio Supercharger at the Sheetz gas station. However, when I program that in, it says there is limited service there, so I don't know if that means it's really slow or there aren't many options or what, but we're going to find out. I've used this Supercharger many times in the past. It was a 150 kW Generation 2 Supercharger. Always worked fine for me. Usually a little crowded, seldom more than half full, so there's seldom any sharing going on. So we'll see what's up with that. Maybe they're upgrading it, maybe something else is going on. We will find out when we get there. So here's the message I get when I look for the Cambridge, Ohio Supercharger. Supercharger service reduced. Well, we're going to give it a try and see what happens. Alright, let's see what the issue is here with the Cambridge, Ohio Tesla Supercharger, because we are here. Ooh, there's a fence around it. It's probably not a good sign.
Now your destination is on the left.
Well, I don't know about the Superchargers, but the Sheetz station is in some peril here. Let's see, so they have pretty much torn it down and rebuilt it. Let me get the camera turned so you can see what's going on here. So the station has been torn down, the building. The fuel pumps are taken out. The canopy's still standing. But the station itself, they're, if not rebuilding the whole thing, it looks like one piece of the back wall they might have left. They're certainly rebuilding most of it. So we're gonna get here. There are 4 stations outside the fence that you can still access. The other 4 are inside the fence. The fact that these 4 are outside the fence and that they're together means there's really, there's more than 2 people using it right now. You're going to be sharing cabinets because there's only 4 to choose from and they're each on shared cabinets. But we can still charge and there's no one else here, so we're in pretty good shape for today. Knowing the condition of this Supercharger with half of the cabinets unavailable may make me rethink my return route so that I can avoid it. I have to believe later this afternoon traffic's going to be really heavy and Superchargers are going to be more in demand. There's a very interesting facility being built on the side of the road here. I'm going to try to turn the camera a little better to see it. Looks like some kind of industrial plant. I can't tell exactly what it is, but it's pretty large. We're out here in a relatively rural area. Not sure if it's going to be a power plant. I know there's abundant natural gas being developed in this area with fracking. No sign that I can see in other times I've been by here, so I'm not really sure. Anyone with any ideas, please leave your thoughts below in the comments. Thanks. So on my way to find the world's largest ever electric vehicle, I came across this memorial in Noble County, Ohio. Wreckage site number 3 of the Navy airship USS Shenandoah. 1925. So the airship crashed due to a violent thunderstorm, but because it was not filled with helium, it did not explode and burn. 29 men survived, 14 unfortunately perished in the crash. We are searching high and low for the world's largest electric vehicle ever built. Going down highways, back roads, everywhere we can look here in southeastern, south central Ohio. The road goes from bad to worse. Most of the world's largest electric vehicle, sadly, is no longer with us. In 1999, it was cut up and sold for scrap. All that remains is one piece of it in a park, which is where we will be stopping next. So the largest electric vehicle ever made was not a car or a truck like you might be thinking. It was actually a dragline excavator called Big Muskie. It was an electric vehicle, and it was huge, but it was not fast. Its traveling speed was 0.1 miles per hour. It actually walked and did not roll on tracks or wheels. This vehicle operated on DC current, just like today's Teslas and other electric vehicles. However, there was one important difference. It was not a battery electric vehicle. It was so huge that it could never run on batteries. It actually was connected at all times to a electric generating station. All that remains of it is this bucket. The bucket is large enough for 2 Greyhound buses to be parked in it side by side. So for some perspective, here's the bucket, which was a tiny piece of the overall machine. And there's my Tesla. They have a cute little park here called Miners Memorial Park, and it is dedicated to miners who lost their lives in the coal mining industry in southeast Ohio. They have nice displays about Big Muskie, and a lot of the area here that they did strip mine, they've turned into a park with the reclaimed land that there's camping and fishing opportunities. It's called Jesse Owens State Park. Back in the early 1980s, I actually saw Big Muskie in operation. I saw it at night, and it was really rather eerie because it was so big and doing so much activity, but it was so quiet because it was electric. All you could hear was the bucket dragging through the dirt and rocks. While they operated it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, they really concentrated their efforts late at night because even though they were excavating for coal for a power company, they still had to pay for the electricity. And just like today, rates are cheaper at night, so they tried to use the benefit of getting the most electricity they could after peak hours. There was an effort made to have the machine salvaged and turned into a museum, but funding could never be acquired for it. Right before they started to scrap it, I took my wife and children to where it was in a field and, quite honestly, was nearly arrested for trespassing. We never did get very close to it. Overall, Big Muskie was 487 feet long, over 1.5 football fields in length. It stood 22 stories tall and could lift a load of dirt over 33 stories high. It was connected to the power plant by 13,000 volt extension cords and used enough electricity to power 27,500 homes. So yes, Big Muskie is no longer with us, but it was, in fact, the largest electric vehicle ever. Just for comparison, here is the bucket that we saw earlier today. You see how small that is compared to the rest of the machine. The machine was 22 stories tall. It had a maximum traveling speed of 0.1 miles per hour. It was certainly no environmentally friendly machine. It was used to strip overburden so they could strip mine high sulfur coal here in southeastern Ohio. So while it was electric, it was no friend of the environment. So on today's trip, we went 417 miles. We used 118 kilowatt hours of electricity and averaged 282 watt hours per mile, which is really pretty good. And that's largely because I was oftentimes on back roads going slower. As I mentioned when I was walking around the bucket, Big Musket was obviously cut up for scrap. However, there is a similar, although slightly smaller, electric excavator in West Mineral, Kansas called Big Brutus. So we will be shortly going on a trip there to check that out and see what could have been here had they turned Big Muskie into a museum. Therefore, it is very important that you subscribe, like, and most importantly, hit the bell button so that you'll be notified of this upcoming content as well as others. We hope that you enjoyed this look at Big Muskie, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.